Welcome aboard the safest airline in Africa. With industry-leading safety measures to protect your well-being. The first in Africa to earn a diamond standard of safety. Offering a more contactless, safe, and seamless experience. Delivered with a smile by Africa's first fully vaccinated crew. Creating special memories that bring the joy back to flying, so you can continue making memories with your loved ones. Book your flight with Rwandair today. Rwandair, the safest airline in Africa.
Rwandair, fly the dream of Africa.
The next presentation is an address from the Hon.Joseph Osei-Owusu, who is the first Deputy Speaker of Ghana Parliament, and is going to present to us on the topic People and Intra-Trade Connectivity within the AfCFTA, the critical role of African parliaments. The Honorable Joseph Osei-Owusu is a lawyer by profession and a long-standing politician. He currently serves as the first Deputy Speaker for the 8th Parliament of the Republic of Ghana and is also a Member of Parliament representing the people of Bekwai in the Ashanti region of Ghana. Honorable, you're most welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Let's put our hands together to welcome him to deliver his address. You're most welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. Indeed, it's a pleasure for me to be among this gathering of community of change-driven, growth-minded, hope-filled men and women. I bring you greetings from His Excellency President Akufo-Addo and my Speaker, Right Honorable Alba Sumani-Babin, the Speaker of Parliament of Ghana. The critical role of African parliaments. I wonder how many of us in starting our businesses consider Parliament as a partner in any way. In many ways, I think that many people think that parliaments are actually pests. And in many respects, we make the rules, so we put obstacles in the ways of people. But frankly, African Continental Free Trade Area is intended to facilitate intra-African trade. It is intended to ensure that Africans trade amongst Africans. Today, what we all talk about is the effect of pandemic on all businesses. And everyone will point out that Africa is probably the hardest hit. Our countries have suffered hugely in terms of revenue losses, in terms of business drop. And if you look at it critically, the real challenge with trade for Africans, African businesses, is the challenge with the supply chain disruptions. The supply chain disruptions affecting us because we trade very little amongst ourselves. We trade from Africa to Europe, to Asia, and to America. For that reason, the quarrel in Europe, Ukraine and Russia, is also affecting us. Many African countries depend on Russia for fertilizer. Many African countries depend on Russia for the supply of wheat. Isn't it ironic that with these vast lands, we depend heavily and almost entirely on countries which have temperatures totally different and are sometimes only 4 months in a year to farm for our survival. I think that between and amongst us, even with the little capital we have, we can do a lot more than we are doing. In West Africa, free movement between countries and traders is rampant. But if you go through all the statistics, what is recorded is very little. Indeed, The UN Conference on Trade and Development says that the total trade among Africans is just about 14.4%. But they also observe that if you come to West Africa, between 66 and 80% of the trade among the nationals of West Africa is not recorded anywhere. It is off record, should I say. There's so much interconnectivity between my country, Ghana, and Cote d'Ivoire, and Burkina Faso, and Togo. But just as the revenue officer said, there's no record. During the seasonal changes, Ghana imports a lot of tomatoes from its neighbors. Ghana exports a lot of other food crops, plantain and yams, tubers, to its neighbors. Amongst and between the farmers and the traders, nobody keeps records of anything. Therefore, there appears to be very little trade amongst and between us. The AfCFTA is intended to regulate and open up more space for trade between Africans in the continent. If you look through us, between Africa and Africa, we can point to many challenges why trade is not as rampant as it ought to be. But I think that if we focus too much on the challenges, we overlook the real problems. This is my second visit to Uganda. In 2015, I was here as part of a parliamentary delegation dealing with intellectual property. And one thing was clear. A lot of the things that have been created by African artists are traded across the world without registration. So some people sometimes actually register them and reproduce them and take the credit. But there's something I observed. I didn't know that there was so much stand-up comedy in Uganda. We were staying at Munyonyo. Am I pronouncing it correctly? Yes. And in the evening, there was a stand-up comedy. A lot of them. One thing which struck me was that they said that the Pentecostal churches were exported to Uganda by Ghanaians. I found that very interesting that many of the Pentecostal and charismatic churches were established by Ghanaian pastors. I look around, I go out, I see a lot of plantain here. Here, I think you call it banana. In Ghana, we call it plantain. It's a staple food we eat here. And I'm surprised that the pastors and their wives are not imported here. The businesses which thrive in Ghana everywhere. How we use plantain for all kinds of foods in Ghana. A young MP, I think he represents the youth in Parliament at that time, he said that, oh, there's a Ghanaian making some food which they crafted like bread. I knew he was talking about fufu. Dr. Divinity knows how popular that food is in Ghana. But you see, in Ghana, the Lebanese that came to settle have made that food into a fast food. We trade the things that we can easily replicate. But the things we have absolute advantage over, we hardly touch them. But I'm here to speak as an MP. So my role as an MP, how can Parliament facilitate trade amongst Africans? Parliament's job is to make rules. So I'm sure that in every country, there are rules and trade restrictions intended to protect the country's opportunities and to generate revenue. AfCFTA is intended to remove barriers such that any African can move goods and services from one part of Africa to the other part of Africa. The parliamentarian's role, therefore, is to look at the environment and to ensure that if there are rules that stand in the way of free trade and the movement of goods and people and services, we either remove the rules or remodel them so as to facilitate trade and investment within Africa. These are the regular things MPs do. But if you ask me, the critical thing I encourage members of parliament to focus on is to craft rules and implement rules that will make the exportation of the good values from one country to the other. It is expected that we will trade among ourselves, we will meet one the other, exchange ideas. It is intended that the businesses that thrive in Uganda can be extended to Kenya, to Malawi, to Zambia, to Ghana. But you need to be able to expand your businesses onto the rest of the continent. I think that the critical things we need are, what are we exporting? I think we should be looking at the work ethics that makes us export brands that are based on excellent service, product integrity, and good value for money. In Ghana, I've seen many businesses, including my own family. My brother-in-law has a big engineering company. He's importing employees from India because he does not trust the young men and women who have been trained in Ghana to properly account for work and money that comes to their hands. I have challenged one of the young businesses men. He's a Lebanese, but his business is growing. It's called Palace. I go to the shop and I see Indian workers all over the place and ask them, permit you to start your business and grow here so that you employ young Ghanaians. And he tells me, Mr. Speaker, the cost from stealing is too much. So whilst we're encouraging trade, how are we preparing such that the values, the good values, the brands of excellent service, product integrity will service the investment and help them to grow? He said that there are two things that everybody needs to be able to make money. You either are providing a service or a product. He says that God will bless the work of your hands, but prayer alone is not sufficient. I've heard that here today too. I'm not sure that in Africa we have focused on building values. A lot of countries have left the job of building values to the churches or to other religious groups. So the countries do not take the responsibility of defining what we call values, national values, and propagating them. I'll give an example I saw in Norway. A nursery teacher enters the classroom, and the first thing the teacher says, if it's not yours, and the children respond, don't take it. Is it not the same thing as thou shalt not steal in the Bible? But that rhyme that a child repeats every day will become a value he or she will grow up with. As we're preparing and planning, liberalizing the system, expanding businesses, linking people in Africa to other people across the continent, we should be looking at what values. What values are we taking from Uganda to Ghana? What values are we taking from Ghana to Malawi? If I cannot trust your product, I will not buy it. However, whoever in Africa makes it. I have been buying, I like shirts, the lemon shirts, but I saw some brands on the net. They look like this. So I went online, paid for it, and delivered it to me. When I received it, I was angry because it's like scarf, whereas it appeared like cotton. When I heard it, like a scarf or a headgear, I've lost trust for that company. Nothing will let me go back to that company. So rules we will make, we will open up, we will link up people. But what will make businesses thrive, and in my view, that responsibility should be taken seriously by those of us in the religious groups is what values we are exporting. What integrity can people stand up for the products we're selling? If we are setting up that, I'm sure the roles played by African parliaments will help facilitate. I'm concluding. African parliaments have a significant role to play to make the benefits of AfCFTA a reality. Parliament can effectively do this by tackling the challenges in the implementation of FTC. Those are above it. Those are things that governments will do. But we must make sure that at the domestic and regional level, facilitation is based on rules that are simple and easy to understand by the everyday people whilst we're moving about our businesses. The issue of funding for infrastructure to increase connectivity is critical. Today, there's no need to carry your goods either by yourself. You have other agents that can take the things you do here in Uganda and sell them in Malawi, sell them in Ghana. The issue of funding for infrastructure to increase connectivity, therefore, important as it is, may not be seen as a major challenge. I'm sure that if we make domestic laws align with regional agreements and other things become priorities, we will succeed in making trade among Africans easy. Thank you for the opportunity.
I first met UMB when I was at the crossroads of my business. I had a serious problem, and UMB has made it possible for me to still stand today. How did they do this? They did not work and put me in a box. They looked at me as an individual and got a product for me which helped me to survive the period. Banks should look at it and see how they can also go that way to be able to meet individual customers, tailor products to suit the individual customers, and not to just box everybody together.
So we pick travelers, our typical customers are people flying in and out of the country. So we pick those from the airport to wherever they're going and back. And we do this through a network of driver partners for whom we give regular business and improve livelihoods. They can book through WhatsApp, they can call us, they can email us. We just try to make it as simple and convenient, as seamless as possible for our customers.